1 week ownership update on this truck. Any regrets? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a great day and welcome to the TUNDRA TRD 34 YouTube channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you know every time I put up a new video and or a live stream. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting in my still very brand new 2022 TRD Pro Tundra. We've owned it for a week, so I wanted to give you a quick update on the truck 1 week in. Now, we're not going to have an update every week. I figured after this, my intervals will be 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and so on. But I wanted to give you that first talk after I've driven it, 5, 6, 7 days now, and really got a feel for some of the things I like, some of the things I dislike. Do I regret getting rid of my 2020 Army Green TRD Pro? Just a couple things like that. So first, we're going to start with going over some of the things about the interior, and then we will take it for a ride, and we will talk about things like steering, ride, suspension, brakes, just the overall enjoyment of the vehicle. Are there goods, bads, uglies, anything you should look out for? Now, in starting with the interior, I gotta be honest with you, I have nothing but excellent things to say about absolutely everything about the interior. The red is not obnoxious. It's something that I did because I thought it would be cool to have a red interior on, kind of a rare truck. The TRD Pro is a limited quantity, so I thought it would be something kind of neat. But overall, I absolutely love it, and I would never go back. I think it looks awesome and flows really nicely with the midnight black metallic exterior. As far as this 14-inch infotainment screen, it is not distracting whatsoever. The sun is not officially up yet, so the truck still automatically has the headlights and fog lights on, so you're seeing a black background. Once it goes to the day, that goes white, but still not distracting. Extremely easy to use, wireless Apple CarPlay. I've had no glitches, no issues whatsoever. Everybody asks about the JBL sound system. Is it good in this new generation? And the answer is a resounding yes. Absolutely 100% better. The team at JBL, the team at Toyota, they probably got together and they said, we got to do something a little bit better when it comes to the sound system in these trucks, and it is night and day better. That is something that I'm very happy with, because who doesn't like to listen to music with the windows down and not have to struggle to hear it or turn it up way too loud? Because that is what I dealt with in my old gen. Anytime the windows were down, I had to turn it way up just to be able to hear it well. The climate control is butter smooth, no issues whatsoever there. You know what? We talked about the new generation Tundra. There's a lot of technology in the truck, but the less is more feel is still there. Sure, it's a flashy new interior and it looks great. Got the big Toyota splashed across the dash over there, but everything is here to use. There's not a lot of extra excess buttons. The space is ample for everything. Like I said, probably my only complaint, if you're forcing me to have one, is the wireless charger. It doesn't really hold the charge on the phone very well, but that's it, and that's not that big of a deal for me. But the cup holders are great, holds the drinks in well. This is for something a little bit smaller, something a little bit larger, but with the tabs here, it holds the drinks in really well. A nice little storage area down here, and of course you have the massive cavernous center console. The shifter is awesome. Just the whole layout down here in the center console is great. Seating comfort is amazing. As you can see, we got the red TRD Pro seats. Seating comfort is 100% amazing. People talk about headroom in the new generation Tundra. I have not had an issue. I am 6 feet tall. Just absolutely the most comfortable seat I've ever sat in a Tundra. It's a pleasure to sit in. It's not something that makes you feel like you got a lower back stiffness or anything like that. And I'm a big fan of comfort in the seats. They've done a lot more bolstering. I've said this a few times. In the old generation seat, it kind of felt like you were sitting on top of the seat instead of down into the seat. This takes care of that right there. See the big side bolstering down there for your thighs? But just a really, really nicely laid out interior. The digital mirror up here, I've gotten very used to. I do like it. The only thing is, depending on the temperature outside, if your vehicle's all fogged up with the windows and everything, or it's, raining out, the camera might get some fog on it and it takes a little while for it to clear up. But like I said, if you flick this right here, it becomes an actual mirror. So you can kind of pick and choose the way you want to do. I used the panoramic roof the other day coming home from golf. Just like the old generation with the moonroof and the big window in the back. It was great and had that really nice airflow. Digital gauge cluster, Really no big deal whatsoever as far as, you know, if it's hard to use or if it's difficult to understand how to get through it. Super simple, just like a lot of other Toyotas. This is how you control it, and you toggle through that menu and it gives you everything you want. PSI, just a lot of different options. MPG, maintenance, messages from the truck, and then you got your gauges over there for your I-force and your boost and your battery. Very simple gauge cluster to use. You could do a lot of custom things with the tack in the middle. So, you know, get in the truck, drive with it a little bit. There's a lot of different options, you know, for your Toyota Safety Sense stuff over here. Cruise control. I mean, this thing is fully loaded when it comes to all that technology. Steering wheel, extremely comfortable. It is also a heated option. You got the red center line there, Toyota in the middle. A lot different looking steering wheel than past generations. TRD down here. Got the sport pedals down there. Everything is absolutely amazing when it comes to the interior. I will never stop saying that. Behind my other camera sitting up here, you have the grab handle. Awesome. Mirrors, awesome. They do a great job. Blind spot monitoring out there on them as well. And they're power folding. Now, I will say this on my things to keep an eye on. The seat bolstering, like I said, is very good. You do sit down into the seat, but I'm not really a huge fan of side steps. So I feel like over time, this may wear because of how you have to slide out of the truck. So we're going to see how that handles over time, or I may just throw maybe some NFAB side steps on it just to see how they do. But the way you have to kind of slide over this, I feel like it might not last, but we shall see. If you have any suggestions for side steps, please let me know in the comments below. I'm also still waiting for Husky to come out with a 2022 floor liner, because I'd like to get the Huskies in this one too. But for now, I have these Tundra TRD Pro all-weather mats. They do a great job. As you can see, we got leaves everywhere, being it's fall. But that is something I will be upgrading to as soon as possible. Husky, please hurry up. I miss your X-Act contours. And now we're going to take the TRD Pro for a little bit of a ride while we talk about some of the characteristics of driving this vehicle, and then I will end it. Is there any regrets with owning this thing after a week? It is still very new. I'm still very much in love, but I will be talking about the likes and the dislikes. There's not many dislikes, but there is one, again, I want to keep an eye on. But overall, suspension, oh wait, you know what, before that, people ask me all the time, how does this TRD Pro suspension and TRD Pro Tundra feel compared to the old one? Is it similar? The old Tundra was the feeling of a very old school pickup truck. It was a lot more floaty. It felt like it had a lot more weight to it. This one here has the feel of a lighter truck, more of a springy feel to it as far as engine response, but the suspension still soaks up all the bumps really nicely. No issues whatsoever with that. The Fox TRD Pro suspension, I felt like back in the last generation was better than the Bilstein one offered before it, and this one is just as good as the Fox offered on the 2020. So when it comes to suspension, there is a lot of similarities with that. When it comes to truck overall, last generation to this generation, night and day different with feel. This absolutely still feels like a truck. You'll hear a lot of people say that it doesn't feel like a truck anymore. I get the vibe of a truck very much because it still does have that pickup truck feel when driving down the road. But this thing, being it's a TRD Pro, it's a little bit wider with the offset of the tires and the fender flares and everything, but it doesn't feel gigantic. Does it still feel like a half ton? Absolutely. But the suspension and all driving characteristics of this truck, all of them are phenomenal. I want you to know that. I know a lot of you out there are still not huge fans of the V6 setup they have in these trucks now, but it has been an absolute pleasure to drive this truck with this engine setup. I'm in normal right now. When you go into sport, it peps it up even more. But if you left it in normal the whole time, it still is an amazing driving experience. You really can't go wrong. But yeah, the only thing that I would say, first off, let me say this. Suspension, amazing. Overall ride of the truck, amazing. Steering, amazing. Everything ties together perfectly. It is quite different. Now, does it mean you'll like it? No. A lot of people like the feel of an old school pickup truck, and the Tundra was pretty much the last of that, because all of these newer generation trucks from all the brands have kind of started to go toward a different platform that feel more like what we get with the new generation Tundra here. So you may like that old school feel, and a lot of you will still love the V8, but this thing is definitely, with the direction everything's going, this is something I'm very, very happy with. The only thing that I will talk on here is the brakes. The brakes are something I'm gonna need to get used to. They're very, very good compared to the other generation. Let's take a little shot here. Again, this is in normal mode. Ready? Go. It just pushes you back in your seat. It's just very fast. The truck is very fast. Fed-in sound sounds absolutely great. The sport mode is like that, but the truck had 3 really strong cups of coffee before you took it out. It's just a great truck. Now, brakes right now, I'm braking for a traffic light. They're not terrible. It's just when you're in like stop and go, they kind of get a little jumpy. I think over time I will get used to that. Overall characteristics of the truck, including some of the interior features and the driving features of the truck. The seats are insanely comfortable, like I said. The power is endless. The truck is just an absolute pleasure to drive. So are there any regrets when it comes to the new generation Tundra and getting rid of the Army Green? And the answer is no. There's not one regret getting into this truck. To be honest with you, I would never get rid of this truck ever. At this point, in 1 weekend, I absolutely love it. I can't get enough of it. I love the look of it. I know some people aren't a huge fan of the look of the new generation Tundra. I love the features in it. It's nicely loaded. It has a lot going on. I still feel like this truck has a less is more approach. I know a lot of you will be like, what are you talking about? The thing's loaded up with features. The thing, you know, looks completely different on the outside, but it's a TRD Pro, which is not the flagship model because that's the capstone, but it's, you know, the special edition, limited edition one everybody wants. And this one here has a very plain outside. It has, you know, the TRD Pro on the tailgate. It says TRD Pro up on the hood, Toyota Heritage Grille, but other than that, it's very plain. It doesn't even say Tundra on the side of the truck, and I think that's awesome because I like a truck with good capability like this, but I also like a truck that doesn't scream it with giant graphics all over the side. Do I wish the TRD Pro stamp was still on the side of the bed? I thought I would care a lot more about that, but I actually like it on the tailgate of the truck. A lot of my feelings changed when I started driving this thing every day. It's very exciting. Will that hold over time? That remains to be seen, but I think it will, because once again, when you look at pictures or you watch YouTube videos like me and you see people driving these trucks and it looks completely different than what you're used to, you're gonna feel like, oh, they over-engineered this truck, or, you know, they went too far with all these features, and you might feel that way. But once you start driving it every day, it just feels like a Tundra. It does still feel like a truck. And I'm on board with trying out this hybrid stuff, you know, the twin turbo V6 setup versus a V8. If anything goes wrong, you're gonna know every single thing about it. I hope nothing goes wrong. The power is immense. So much power, it's unbelievable. Very comfortable to drive. The 10-speed automatic transmission is amazing. It shifts flawlessly, and that's what makes it feel unique compared to, say, a supercharged Tundra. Is you put it in sport mode, pushes you back in your seat, and the truck just flies down the road. It's not a bumpy experience. Like, you can't really feel the gears shift like you could on the old Tundra. It's just a really well put together truck. People ask all the time, are there any wind sounds, wind noise coming in? Does the center console rattle? This thing is built nicely. I don't hear a sound, and that's one thing I've always liked about the Tundra. The Tundra was always built correctly, and you never hear creaks, rattles, shakes, none of that. I know when the new generation first came out, some people were complaining of that. Well, I'm happy to tell you this truck is completely quiet. The only thing you hear is that fed-in exhaust sound, which some people don't like. I like it because sound is great. TRD dual exhaust was amazing. This has a TRD exhaust, if you will. It has 2 outlets on one single pipe, which looks kind of cool. It has the TRD imprint on the side and everything. But the sound on the inside does sound good. On the outside, I'm sure it sounds something like a Ford Raptor, because it is a V6. It is a twin turbo, but we do have some upgrades coming up to it very shortly, and they're not super expensive upgrades. They're upgrades that could be used on even regular 2022 Tundras. So I figured that would be good. We'll start with stuff that is cheap and affordable, and then go from there what we want to change. But to be honest with you, if the truck stayed exactly as I have it right now, I would be more than fine. There's just not much negative to say about it. I have no regrets. I don't miss the Army Green in the way of this truck isn't meeting the expectations and standards. I love this thing so far. 1 week in, we'll revisit that in 1 month and see if anything has changed. I'm sure some things will pop up. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you in the market for a 2022/2023 Tundra? Until next time, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook at TundraDude34, TundraDude34@gmail.com. You guys have an enjoyable weekend. I'll talk to you soon.